Maplewood Lane wasn't just quiet, it was curated. Lawns stayed cut to uniform height, hedges sculpted like they were competing for neighborhood awards, sprinklers whispered in perfect arcs before sunrise, and porch lights flicked on like clockwork when dusk rolled in. People called it the dream neighborhood, the kind of place where you'd imagine cozy holiday parties, block barbecues, families that trusted each other, and couples who still held hands long after marriage vows faded into routine. For a long time, Ella Hart believed she'd found her forever haven here. She and Daniel moved in with so much hope. Fresh paint on walls, new beginnings in boxes across the living room, future memories waiting like unopened gifts. Their first year felt like a movie. Warm summer evenings on their porch, laughter echoing across the street, weekend bike rides, soft jazz on rainy Sundays. They were the couple neighbors pointed to as the solid ones. Ella remembered telling her sister once, "It's quiet here, simple, like life finally exhaled." And for years, that was true. But perfection doesn't crumble dramatically. It erodes, softly, quietly, like rain that wears down stone. And for Ella, it began with moments, tiny, imperceptible shifts in rhythm.
Daniel had always been predictable, steady, a man of habit. He woke at 6, he showered, dressed, kissed her forehead, made coffee exactly 6 minutes after hers, left the house at 8:22 on the dot. But predictability had slowly become distance. Little pauses in conversation, smiles that looked practiced, touch that felt lighter, like someone thinking of something or someone else. Ella didn't accuse him, not at first, because doubt at the beginning doesn't shout. It lingers quietly, like a shadow you can't unsee. And the first time she really felt it was simple. A buzzing phone in the middle of the night. The soft glow lighting Daniel's face as he turned away to check it. He said it was a work alert. She believed him because she wanted to, until the morning his phone lit up again and she saw it. A text from B. Same time tonight? 3 seconds. That's all it took for her stomach to twist into knots she couldn't untie. Daniel walked in smiling, as if the world hadn't shifted beneath her feet. "Morning, love," he said, warm, familiar, but suddenly foreign. And Ella's smile, once genuine, felt like a mask that trapped all the hurt inside. She didn't confront him. Not yet. Truth needed preparation, proof, patience. She would watch, and she did. With quiet discipline she didn't know she possessed, Ella became an observer in her own marriage. She noticed the subtle perfume on his shirt, floral, elegant, expensive, not hers. She saw the way he lingered in the car before coming inside, how his eyes drifted when she spoke, as though his body was home, but his thoughts were somewhere else. She felt the emotional weight of things unsaid sit between them at dinner like an unwelcome guest. One evening, she washed dishes and noticed 2 champagne glasses neatly placed upside down in the drying rack. They hadn't celebrated anything. They hadn't toasted to anything. She ran her finger across one rim, slowly. Chilled shock prickled across her chest. That night, she opened their silverware drawer with trembling hands and counted forks. 8. But one had a faint watermark she didn't recognize. A small detail, meaningless by itself, but details added up like puzzle pieces. She began timing his commutes, checking his phone calendar when he showered, watching how his tie was sometimes tied differently, as if someone else had straightened it for him. She became fluent in noticing. Nights stretched longer, sleep felt shallow, her heart beat fast in quiet rooms. One evening, while Daniel slept, she padded barefoot into their dim living room. The soft hum of the refrigerator filled the silence. A lamp cast warm light on framed photographs, vacation smiles, anniversary dinners, memories that felt distant now. The front door was unlocked. Daniel always locked it. Always. Ella's breath hitched as she slowly pressed her hand against the cold metal. She turned the lock with a soft click. She stood there for a long time, fingers still curled around the handle. "What are you hiding?" she whispered to the empty room. Silence wrapped around her like a blanket too heavy to breathe under. The next morning, she checked the car's odometer. Too many miles for his route. Late work nights, he'd said. Traffic, he'd shrugged. Lies always came gently at first. She checked bank statements, rotating charges at a quiet bistro on the other side of town. Once a week, always on Thursdays, always 2 meals. Ella went there alone, sat at a table near the back, heart pounding with a mix of dread and determination. The waiter greeted her politely. Then recognition flickered in his eyes when she mentioned Daniel's name. Not recognition for her, recognition for him. And then empathy. A look that silently said, "I'm so sorry. I know who you are without needing to ask." Ella didn't cry. She couldn't.
She simply thanked him, stood up, and walked out. The world outside looked unchanged, but she wasn't. Driving home, her hands trembled. Memory after memory flickered into her mind. Holidays, laughter, late-night movies, and each one stung with newfound doubt. She didn't want a dramatic explosion. She wanted clarity. The next Saturday, Daniel said he needed to run an errand. He kissed her cheek. She let him. When his car left the driveway, she counted to 90, then grabbed her keys. She followed him, slow, careful, heart pacing like footsteps in a dark hallway. He didn't drive to a restaurant or a hotel or anywhere dramatic enough to match her dread. He drove into a quiet residential neighborhood just outside town. Charming houses lined the street, flowers blooming, wind gently brushing tree branches like a lullaby. He parked in front of a pale blue house. A wind chime danced in the breeze. Ella pulled over 2 houses away. Her heartbeat pumped loud enough she could hear it in her ears. A woman walked outside. Not glamorous, not suspicious looking, just real. Middle-aged, soft eyes, a cardigan wrapped around her like comfort. She carried a small gift bag. Daniel stepped out. He walked up to her with a solemn expression she hadn't seen before. Not secrecy, something else. Weight, emotion. They hugged. Not romantic, not flirtatious, but intentional. Long, deep. A hug heavy with history. Ella's chest tightened so hard she felt dizzy. The woman handed Daniel a small box wrapped in ribbon, something delicate, meaningful. He nodded, whispered something, then walked back to his car. He didn't smile, didn't look energized or guilty. He looked, burdened. He drove away, alone. Ella stayed. She needed to see who this woman was, what this house meant. Minutes passed. Another car pulled up. A teenage girl jumped out, school bag slung over her shoulder, running into the woman's arms. "Mom!" That one word broke something and mended something in Ella at the same time. This wasn't a lover. This was family. a truth she never knew existed. But why had Daniel hidden family from her? Why the secrecy, the distance, the lies? Sometimes betrayal isn't romantic, it's emotional isolation.
I've been helping her daughter. I wasn't hiding an affair. I just didn't know how to tell you without reopening wounds that nearly broke me once. Ella sat beside him, knees touching. She stared at his hands she once trusted without thought. "Why hide it?" she asked softly. He exhaled. "Because I wanted this home, us, to be untouched by pain, pure, safe, and she represents everything I tried to leave behind." Ella felt tears gather, not from betrayal, but from all the unspoken things that suddenly filled the room. Secrets don't always come from deceit. Sometimes they grow from fear, from wanting to protect someone by shutting them out. But protection without honesty isn't protection. It's isolation dressed as love. She rested her hand over his, gentle but not fully trusting. "I would have stood by you," she whispered. "You didn't need to carry that alone." His voice shook. "I know, and I'm sorry." Silence washed over them, soft but deep. Not suffocating, just heavy enough to remind them healing takes time. Outside, streetlights glowed, sprinklers whispered across lawns. A neighbor's porch light flicked on in routine rhythm. To the outside world, Maplewood Lane remained perfect. Inside one home, perfection had cracked. Not shattered, but opened just enough for truth to breathe. Ella leaned her head against the couch, staring at the quiet living room. She still felt hurt, confused, but no longer lost. Sometimes the biggest betrayal isn't cheating. It's hiding the parts of yourself someone promised to share. Truth had returned to their home, but trust would rebuild slowly, brick by quiet brick. And somewhere, deep inside, Ella felt something unfamiliar but real. Not peace, not certainty, just honesty. For now, that was enough. The neighborhood rested under soft porch lights, and inside one house, a marriage, imperfect, human, scarred but alive, began again, not as a fairy tale, but as something real.